guess what? I got a Discord server.
Oh, when I put up minigames, so like I put up minigames for a very specific thought process, but we can go into the tavern games too. But when I was thinking minigames, I was thinking like other types of mini games in the game, to like maybe crafting mini games, maybe like if you're looking for a high-end star medal, or having to do an astrology mini game. Not having to do, but it would help you, like, by doing this astrology mini game, you can see where this meteor landed on the ground and be able to track star medal or some other fantasy ore. Having mini games in the game that would not take away anything. You don't have to do them, but they're a fun little thing to do. And then they do help out by doing them. Like in Rust, where if you do the mining or chopping mini game, in those you get extra resources, you get extra give back on your resources, stuff like that.
I mean, I'm not a big fan when it comes to minigames and gathering. Gathering should be really simple because you're already spending time running around and then having to play a minigame. I find
you're turning your brain off when you're doing, like, most people when they gather, they're turning their brain off and like doing brain dead things. Like by having a mini game, you're still engaged in the game.
Yeah, but I feel like that's too much. I'm okay with when it comes to mini games and crafting, and then having, you know, randomized results,
getting a better outcome.
Yeah, for example, if you have a mini game where you can somehow, you know, try different variations of potions depending on what you put in there. If you put in 3 berries or 4, and then I don't know what else. That sort of mini game where you can, you know, try out stuff, I'm cool with. But having like a mini game just so you pay attention when you go gathering or whatever, that's for me the biggest freaking turn off. Because if I want to go gathering, I go gather, turn on a movie, and I play the game. But if I have to then concentrate and do a mini game, then it just becomes, it's.
But you're talking about the whole brain dead, turn my brain off, go gather kind of aspect.
So, and I think that's kind of, it's one of the, I feel like trying to make mini game out of crafting or gathering is kind of like trying to make crafting and gathering the exact same content as combat. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I think maybe having the variety, having that thing that you can do that's more turn your brain off, go gather. I mean, I would kind of like some things where it's like gathering might be a little bit more involved, where you kind of actually have to look for stuff, or
yeah, that's what I was going with the astrology thing of like, hey, I'm trying to find this star medal, or doing the astrology game, and it lets you know like, hey, this is the trajectory that the meteor fell.
But
this is where the newest.
Here's the thing: when I gather and I'm gathering, and then I have to do a mini game, and then I'm getting, I don't know, attacked by somebody that just, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I guess my thing is, I'm not sure, but I think that some of this argument for a mini game, like, I kind of liked your idea for the astrology thing. I want to put that out there. The idea of finding star metal ore with this astrology thing, I feel like that makes sense for what star metal ore is. I don't know how you do that for all the other ore types, like iron ore, or if iron ore wouldn't have that same method. But I also think that it's not a bad thing that gathering is brain dead, quote unquote.
You still have the brain dead method. Like, I'm not like I said, you're not forcing the minigame on anybody. You just like enhance the like by doing the astrology thing. Like, you don't have to do the astrology thing to find star metal ore. You can just go out in one direction, fucking find it, not like find it. But by doing it, you're instantly told like, hey, this is where it is. You can still go out and chop 10,000 trees, but by participating in the mini game, you cut that number in time in half.
Okay.
Like, you're not penalized for not, like, you're not forced into doing the mini game, but by doing mini game, you're rewarded for doing it.
Well, I feel like mini game would affect the market, so you would technically, on average, have to be penalized for not using it, because I think to balance the acquisition of the star metal ore, you would want it so that people, you'd have to lessen gains to, like, from a single node to account for the fact that it's easier for people to find the nodes because of the mini game.
Well, you can Well, so nodes and asterisk creation are limited anyway. So like one node spent up, like it goes somewhere else anyway. So you have to find the node all over again.
Oh no, I'm just saying that you're able to find the ore easier because of the star metal. Therefore, you would have a higher yield on average, which would then mean to balance the market, you'd probably want a lower yield from individual nodes because people have a way of finding the nodes easier. But I'm not against that either.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. Yeah.
I'm
not in the designer seat to say. It's a cool idea for that specific thing.
I mean, if I think about, for example, having to do a minigame when I chop down a tree and now I have to hit like a combo bar or whatever, I probably will try to gather not as much as I normally would in other games. If it would be like chopping wood, like in a survival game, that's a different story. But if I then
everywhere in a survival game isn't it's a like I agree it should be like that, but like that's not a mini game. And
I know, I feel like mini games I feel like the mini games in crafting, I feel like that is a way better fit than mini games in gathering.
Yeah, so Pathkun is like saying that like if you can get better outcomes of the gathering by doing them, then by not doing them, you feel like you're being penalized for.
Yeah, and that's why maybe it be something for like special, maybe just like things like star metal ore, and to use it, you need to have there needs to be a cost associated with it using it. So it's like star metal ore is required to craft, say, the best gear, and then but to make it easier to find, and so you can actually like craft the gear, maybe you have to spend resources making the thing that allows you to track it down. I don't know. I feel like we're being too much designery here.
We can go on. So like this topic also kind of like goes over towards tavern games, which has been a topic on the forums recently too. Someone like a couple of people had made threads about like mini games that they would like to see, maybe like something like chess and poker. And we have already been told like, hey, you will be able to gamble on this type of stuff. And each race is getting their own tavern game too. So you have 9 tavern games.
I bet the designers hate that. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where like, oh.
Well, like that was a thing that was said a long time ago.
It was said a long time ago, but it's one of those things that's going to come up in the backlog, and it's like, oh fuck, we actually have to do this.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard.
Wasn't that also a
It was a Kickstarter.
Yeah,
it was like the first Kickstarter.
They kind of have to do it too.
I think they said that some of the Kickstarter stretch goals can come after launch.
It can come after launch, yes. But that was also hitting for a 2020 release date too. So they've taken a lot longer too. So like I don't know if people are going to be as forgiving for not getting all the.
I don't know. How many of us in the community are still from the Kickstarter? I feel like there's enough people who weren't.
A handful, maybe.
Yeah.
At least
you're still gonna have a ton of people that are looking. You're gonna still have a ton of people that are gonna look at the Kickstarter and say like, "Where's this? Why aren't we getting this?" Yada yada yada.
I don't know if the game launched and they're like, "Here's our content pipeline, and we can see where the games of chance are." I don't know. I wouldn't be too mad, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
Did we ever figure out what the cute small pet was going to be? Sorry, that's just never mind.
Yeah, we got we voted on the dog.
We voted on the dog. Okay.
Well, we voted on a dog and a cat. We got the Pete cat and the dog rabbit thing.
The rabbit thing was a dog.
Okay,
the dog
rabbit thing was a cat.
Okay, just to finish up the mini game thing. The last thing that I want to say is, I honestly prefer like a mini game, like I said, in crafting, because that gives you the feeling of you're actually crafting something compared to just pressing one button. Having it to do a mini game when you go and pluck weeds or herbs, Yeah.
And you don't want it to be like, you don't want crafting to be
mean-
like, I just hit a button and I automatically craft stuff too.
crafting. You're already like spending time and money to get the best like gathering tools, and then you still have to do like a special thing. If it's like for like a special, really rare, I don't know. For example, you want to cut down, I don't know, a super special tree, right? Then before you cut it down, you have to apply, I don't know, some lotion to your axe, otherwise the tree is gonna die instantly. Like stuff like that, yeah. But if I then have to go through a minigame before cutting down the tree or mining an ore or gathering a herb, that just seems too much of an hassle and just forced content. But if I then have the option to experiment while crafting a sword or potion or whatever, that for me personally enriches the gameplay experience. And the other way around would just be, I don't know.
Well, I guess counter that. What if you spend all the money, or you have your friends give you the best resources and you just accidentally misclick on the minigame? And that would feel pretty shitty. I guess some of the like crafting and stuff, I sometimes think it's better if it is just like
Every time
the difficulty
topic
is acquiring the resources. It's nice if they also make it a little bit more difficult than just you need 3 resources to make an item. Like making it so you need to make the hilt, and you need to make the blade, and you need to make the shaft, or the hilt shaft something. But having you make more things, so there's some layer of complexity there.
There's a level of
It's nice.
customization there as well.
But making you do a mini game where if you fail, you do a worse craft, I feel like can be a feels bad man moment.
Well, all right. So you have the same thing with RNG. Like RNG, you have like a random thing says like whether or not this comes out as a higher quality or a shit quality.
And we don't want RNG in our crafting system.
Yeah. So like you have, if you introduce the mini game instead, you get if you're good at the mini game, then you're increasing your chances. If you're bad at the mini game, then you just like decrease the chances, or you just don't get
Or you just let someone else log into your account who's actually good at the mini game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like crafting isn't supposed to be about your like moment to moment like actions or reactions. It's supposed to be about like it's more of a management like macro activity.
But even in modern games, it's not. Like in modern game, like in any MMO that you play, it's I have the resources required. I go to a workbench and I hit a button and I've automatically crafted my weapon.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's made better when you add a little bit more complexity to the crafting process. Like you craft different components of the weapon and then you have to merge the weapon together. I'm sorry, I see you facepalming there, BCG.
I don't facepalming.
Your giraffe can't hide that.
No, I'm not facepalming. Nah, I mean like it just, you know, like when you craft something, it's trial and error, and I feel like a mini game would fit better in that than when I gather. That's, I mean, what game? One MMORPG they had this mini game when I gathered, and it just
I link so like every time the topic of crafting comes up,
crap out of me.
I link the Sword Art Online abridged episode where like he goes to the crafter and she crafts his sword.
What? Oh, anime.
Is that the one where it ends out poopy?
No, so you want the abridged version or the one that's actually in the anime?
I remember there's like a bit, and I don't think it's actually in the anime where because she's crafting with poop, she makes like a poop-looking sword.
No, she crafts with poop and because of that, because it's dragon shit that they're using as the crafting material, she Kirito ends up naming it the dragon poop sword.
That's abridged.
It's a longer, yeah, it's not abridged. And then they have a gigantic minigame that she goes through, that's like a Guitar Hero sequence
where she has to like. It's one of those things where like, okay, sorry, and I use that saying way too much. I don't know if crafting needs to be the same thing as combat, and I feel like you're making them the same thing when you add like a mini game like that.
You're adding a mini game. I don't think it's the same thing as combat. You're making it an engaging part of the game. Whereas
Making it
gathering,
a very active part.
you're making it a very active part of the game. And so I'm not against that with like most of the aspects of the game. I can understand like the needing a part of the game where you can turn your brain off. That's the gathering part. I can understand that part, or like going out and farming trash mobs or whatever you're doing. Like having a aspect of the game that is, I can turn my brain off for a bit and just do something. I don't know if any aspect of Ashes Creation is going to be like that, because like at every given moment you're at risk of being ganked, like being attacked by somebody as well. So like going out in groups is like going to be incentivized.
I don't think it's gonna happen that often in like common areas.
Well, no, because you want to kind of work together to level up your node. So you like if you're attacking people inside your own node, you're honestly just fucking yourself up. Like there's a lot of things.
You're also just
like,
pissing off people in your area.
Yeah.
And if you're pissing off people, you're dragging down the reputation of your guild, and then it's your guild leader's not going to be elected mayor. And
that's if you're in a scientific
anything
node.
else regarding minigames?
If you want to name off your favorite thing you would like to see as a table not a table a tavern game.
Texas Hold'em. Straight up orc Texas Hold'em. What's up?
I agree with that. I don't like. I would only want maybe like one card game. I don't want them all to be card games.
But Yu-Gi-Oh! We need to have Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or a Gwent, like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Or a Gwent.
Like a Gwent or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon.
I can see that. I'm down with that.
That'd be. I think
that would be the dominant tavern game.
I feel like that also couldn't be one that could be like a base race one. I feel like that's one they would want to add an expansion where you actually have to like collect the card. And you like build your decks and stuff like that. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be the only thing I would be doing in the game.
So that would be the dominant one, and that would also be one where like you would want that to be like a collector's thing. I had to go out and collect the cards and like stuff like that. So I probably wouldn't have that as one of the 9 races ones. I agree with you that like they making your own card game isn't opposed. You could even make it. I could even do it like an app. Like it'd be a good side project too, like something that like throw on a phone app, like Ashes Creation card game.
So like people can make their own rules for the card game?
No.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine only dragons or like raid bosses would drop like the best
rare
cards?
Yeah.
Well, no, I just thought that it would be interesting if you could only get the cards would be the things you kill in the game.
Yeah.
So like in order to get I feel like you'd want to balance it. So like if it was like Magic, you had to have like certain land costs to play these big cards. But in order to get those big cards, you do have to do something like beat a dragon.
I'm not opposed to that. Like I love it when games have their own like card game kind of thing. Like, and they've been really great within the past few years. Like card games, I'm not opposed to, but in terms of tavern games, like one of the 9 races tavern games.
I mean, I think what I want to see is, I don't know if I don't expect this early on, but later on, it would be fun to have games kind of like Mario Party, or other games that take your character, or like Mario Party like games, take your character and throw you into like a different perspective, and you're like trying to play a Mario Party game as your character.
Lost Ark is doing that a lot with like in the next expansion.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
right
Lost
now.
Ark's doing a lot of that right now. They just had a recent announcement. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff with their game. But that's something completely different. I don't know. Like you could do stuff like that with Ashes Creation, like the BR, the like stuff like that. There's tons. There's some other things too that I definitely could see you doing. But in terms of like tavern game, what would you like to see, Staggerson?
I mean, I would want Mario Party as a tavern game. And I feel like that should be my answer. Like Mario Party, like I want something a little interesting. I know it's a big ask, and that's why I say I don't expect something like that at launch. But it's something. If you're gonna ask me what I want to see, I'm gonna give you that answer.
With your Texas Hold'em, one BCG, which race would you like to see that as? Which race do you think would be the card game race?
Humans. Orcs would be more like of a dice game.
I'm thinking dwarf is the dice game, dice race
No,
game.
I guess I'm thinking of what's that like common dice game you see in anime, where it's like even or odd. I think.
That's a Japanese gambling one.
Yeah, I think that is like a VEC game. Yeah, VEC Renkai.
I would think Renkai would probably be something like Shogi or Go.
That would be really cool. I guess I haven't gone into like chess and shogi and go and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking more like chess and stuff, chess or a card game, like stuff like that. We have I play a tavern game.
Well, I guess for tavern games, I feel like they need to be easily scalable to more than 2 people.
Well, it would just be a 2-person thing, wouldn't it?
What?
It's a tavern game. You're just like you're sitting at a table with somebody else.
Well, I feel like you're supposed to be sitting at a table with more than one other person, and you just.
I feel like I agree with you. When I think tavern game, I'm not think like. So you could do that with Texas Hold'em with other card games, and like with dice games too, you could do that. So you're probably right. More people is better. I just always thought of the tavern games as a two-player thing.
No.
So chess and stuff like that, chess, shogi, and go, totally 2-player. I definitely think dwarf, like Dunir dwarf or like your standard dwarf, is more like a dice thing.
I mean, you could also do like more like sort of betting games. For example, you could have like a.
Well, they're all gonna be betting games.
Like a red race where it's complete RNG or whatever, and the rats race, one of them wins, and you bet on the rats before the race starts. You know what I mean?
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be.
I see what you're saying.
It'd be fun if you could like drop your own critter in. Sorry, made me think. It'd be cool if you dropped your pet in. And it like your pet, you don't train your pet or anything like that. That doesn't need to be a part of it. It just like aesthetically, your pet's in the race, and you just bet. And behind the scenes, it's just RNG. This just decides who wins. But that would be fun.
To be like super RNG.
I don't want to be training my pet. I just think it'd be fun. If it was
well,
RNG.
you have your pet has stats. Well, your pet has stats.
I'm talking about the cosmetic pet. Cosmetic pet.
Animal husbandry. Well, that's part of animal husbandry too, and like the cosmetic pet is just cosmetic, and like that's a store-bought thing.
Yes. So yeah, you just drop in your store-bought out your pet, or just like a rat. It's like default. Everyone has a rat, but you can also put in your cosmetic pet, and they run around the circle.
You guys are going further than I was thinking with the.
Yeah. All right.
I'm trying to take it further. It's one of those things where, like, I guess I was just at a casino
let's bring
2 weeks ago.
Let's bring it back because we're almost out of time, anyways.
Well, we are out of time, but we can keep going.
I mean, no, if we're out of time, we're out of time. I mean,
the only other topic
okay? Let's do this. Let's do this. What race and what's the favorite mini game you want to see in game?
My favorite race is Tolnar. I haven't really thought about what kind of game a Tolnar would have. I thought about the other ones, but not really what a Tolnar would have yet. I imagine it'd be something involving bones or rocks.
Staggerson?
Favorite race is Tolnar, but I have no clue what would be a good Tolnar game. I think I'm going to stick with my Mario Party style game. Or it's like a board game, and there's little mini games associated with it. Maybe it just needs to have the mini games. Just like have some of those fun little mini games that you can just drop a bunch of people in.
I don't see that as the tavern game thing though.
So for me, it would be the Renkai, and game wise, it can be something as simple as just rolling a dice.
Okay, wait. Tolnar, what if they had the that chess style game that they have in Star Wars, where it's like the little
space,
instead of
I think it's literally called something chess.
Yeah, isn't that also
holographic, but you have like little essence creatures, and
Yeah.
Yeah, something
beat
like that.
it off.
All right, we're done for today.
Yay! All right. We will not see you next week. We will not see you. BCG
going on
is actually
vacation.
leaving. Yeah,
I'm go-
BCG is going on vacation, so
I mean,
he won't be
if-
back until.
If you want to do it without me, that's fine, but I won't be back till the 8th. I'm going on vacation, a well-deserved vacation.
So, all right, the 8th on a Saturday. Are you wanting to do like a show immediately when you get back on the 9th?
Let me check. Yeah, let's do one on the 9th. That's works.
Okay. We will be back on the 9th of 2022. By the time you see us, it'll be the next year.
Bye, everybody.
Happy holidays. Enjoy your new year. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.